What's up, baseball friends? Thanks for being here. We're going to talk about the Twins pitching pipeline for a minute tonight, and on an evening that Zebby Matthews pitched, on an evening that Marco Raya pitched, on an evening that Corey Lewis pitched. I want to talk about this dude here, Adrian Bohorquez, who made his debut with the Fort Myers Mighty Muscles, had a really good year for the FCL Twins and got promoted at the end of that season. This is the first kind of extended looks I got at him, so I wanted to share just some of even just committing a face to the name, getting a look at this guy's body type, getting a look at this guy's delivery, getting a look at this guy's cutter. I think he throws a cutter and a slider, but Baseball Savant says he throws a cutter and maybe one slider. I'm not sure. We'll have to take some more looks at him and get some more digging deeper into the data, but whatever it is, whatever he's throwing, he's getting swings and misses on. And this is a guy that I put in my top 30 in the Twins system coming into July. Again, reminder, I update my prospect list the first Monday of every month, so that's coming up here. And a guy who the folks at Fangraphs had in the Twins top 20 over there. So go check that out. Go over to Fangraphs, their prospect tab at the top. You can take a look at the Twins list, see what they wrote about this guy. It's clear that the Twins are pretty intrigued by this guy. You know, he's one of the only players, along with Yasser Mercedes, who's been called up after the end of the FCL season up to Fort Myers to keep playing. They have featured him a decent amount on their Twins player development Twitter account. I know that we're getting out pretty pretty abstract here in trying to kind of draw lines to how this guy might be somebody the Twins are pretty excited about. Obviously, the ranking at Fangraphs, I think that is, two pieces. I'm sure there was some scouting and there was some data analysis that went into that, but I'm sure also some of that was talking with people inside of the Twins organization about this guy, and that led to him being ranked as high as he was. So an interesting player, topping out at 96.8 miles per hour tonight, according to Baseball Savant. There were only a couple of guys at this level that threw 97 tonight. So that's, I know that's, you can kind of bat an eye at that these days in terms of MLB velocity. It's kind of crazy to say that the 97 isn't that big of a deal anymore, but it's a pretty big deal in low A still, and especially for a guy who's only 19 years old. 4 swinging strikes on what's being classified as that cutter right now. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if they have him throwing 17 of his 39 pitches were cutters. I think some of those were sliders. I don't know. I'm not going to argue with, the whatever algorithm that they have on here that classifies these pitches. But I've said this before. I'll say it again. The first time a guy pitches at a level, sometimes, they're working out some of the kinks for that particular pitcher. So I wouldn't be shocked if he's not this cutter heavy, and a lot of those cutters were sliders. Either way, though, 4 swings and misses on that pitch. Only threw 40 pitches in the outing. Again, this guy's 19, so they're probably not going to have him throw a ton. But as I said, a bunch of other notable names pitched from the pitching pipeline tonight. Didn't pitch all that well, some of them, unfortunately. Zebby Matthews goes 5 innings, gives up 9 hits and 5 runs. Doesn't walk anybody, of course, because he's Zebby Matthews, but does strike out 8. So there's some good, there's some bad, to be honest, in there. I think that's, again, I think I said this at his last start. This is a guy who started the year in high A. I've heard his name kind of thrown out as far as potential Twins depth for the big club, and that's true. He is, he's in AAA, and he's pitched well, and you're going to be thrown in those conversations when that's the case. But I do think this guy has some tweaks to make, because again, he barely was in AA, so. I think and this was a guy who was drafted in the 8th round not all that long ago. So I think he has some things to learn in his journey, and the 8 strikeouts are a plenty good enough show that this is where he should be right now in AAA. So I think this is good developmentally, but anybody who's kind of souring on Zebby over his last couple outings, I would urge you not to, because I think this is good progress that he's making. Marco Raya, he does pitch into the 5th inning, so that's nice, but he gives up 7 hits, 4 runs, walks 2, strikes out 4. Has to throw 79 pitches to get that deep into the game. So, not his best outing either. Ricky Castro pitched for the Colonels. Jose Olivares started that game for the Mighty Muscles. So this was Bohorquez was coming out of the bullpen. He is being developed as a starter, but again, they're going to kind of limit his innings. You see his line on the bottom there. 3 innings, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts on 39 pitches for Adrian Bohorquez. Pitched really well. And then Corey Lewis. They've been doing this with Marco Raya. It's been Andrew Morris more often than not, I feel like. But tonight it was Corey Lewis. Piggybacked, basically, Marco Raya. He pitched the final 4 innings, gave up 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts for Corey Lewis on 69 pitches. It really seems like he's back, Corey Lewis. Missed a good long chunk of the early season and then wasn't pitching all that well after that. And really more recently, Corey Lewis is kind of looking like that Corey Lewis of last year. So that's great to see from him with Wichita. Again, another guy who's adjusting to a level, Corey Lewis, going after rehabbing, going straight to Double-A where he did not play last year. So good to see, though, out of these guys facing some tests and passing on some of them in Corey Lewis's case. From the hitting side tonight, not a whole lot going on. To be honest, the Wind Surge did have a nice game, and there were some more guys that had good games. But Ben Ross, just kind of want to call out, we're probably at the point where it's too late for him to really put up good numbers on the season, but he's really turned things around. Was 2 for 3 with a walk tonight and 2 stolen bases, 14 on the year. So it's nice to see that he's kind of finishing off on a high note, it appears, potentially. Moving on over to the Twins, who won tonight 10-2. Thanks to a 6-run 8th inning. I think those were all with 2 outs. Man, this is a bad White Sox team. Man, it's a bummer. It's a bummer how bad this White Sox team is. This might be the worst. This might end up being the worst Major League team of all time. They're in the middle of a really terrible losing stretch. It's almost a no-win situation to be playing them right now. I'm not trying to spin this to woe is me. We have to play the White Sox. I realized as it came out of my mouth that was ridiculous. Sorry. Of course, it's a nice opportunity to be playing the White Sox right now. But what I mean by that is, like, if you crush them, well, of course you crush them. They're the worst team. What do you expect? If you lose if you lose a game and still win the series against the White Sox at this point, it's like a failure. So that's what I mean. Anyway, Royce Lewis, was great to see him hit a 2-run home run and then a 2-run double. So he drove in 4 runs tonight for Royce. See Byron homered, Willie Castro homered. A nice overall night from the lineup. It was tied up for a minute there, but they chipped away. They led 4-2 for kind of most of the game. Joe Ryan with a quality start, 6 2/3, gives up 2 runs, strikes out 6. He did walk 3, which is kind of unusual for him. But I don't know that his command has been quite as crisp, even as he pitches well. But anyway, Alcala pitched out of the pen, Jax pitched out of the pen, and then Trevor Richards made his Twins debut. Pretty nice situation to be pitching with a 10-2 lead the first time that you get out there for a new team, throwing to a new catcher. So great opportunity for him. Good to see him just get a clean inning out there. It's out of the way. 7 of his 9 pitches were strikes. Made it look real easy. So Twins win, Wind Surge win, 8-4. Everybody else loses, unfortunately. Thank you so much for checking this one out. We'll talk again soon.